Hello everybody, it's me Scoop, and welcome to Saturday Summary, the show where I break down the biggest news in tech and media over this past week. In today's episode, we will be talking about Season of the Chosen, the newest season of Destiny 2, which I believe is Season 13. Not that it really matters, because just called Season of the Chosen. Numbers don't matter. So anyway, what specifically are we going to be talking about? Well, just, my thoughts on it, general improvements and changes and stuff, and the, not really the specifics of what's going on. I'll leave that to Datto and Ricky K over on the channels with, more than 26 subscribers. So what are my thoughts on Season of the Chosen? Well, to, keep it general, I think it was definitely a good step in the right direction. A lot of good quality of life updates over actual big drops of content, which I always can appreciate, such as being able to click on a quest and then see the individual steps and what you have to do, and just a whole nice UI overhaul in general just looks pretty good, as Bungie always manages to pull off. Battlegrounds. Battlegrounds is a pretty cool activity. The trailers did not give away too much about it, which I guess makes sense because there's really not that much to give away. It's basically just kind of like a strike, but instead of going through story-based mission-type scenario, you're kind of just out in a somewhat cave or like medium to open area, and you're just fighting waves of Cabal with, two people that you matchmake with, and you work through a few different areas, and then you fight off a final boss with, you guessed it, immunity phases! And then, you kill him. You freaking smash the chest with a hammer, which looks so sweet, by the way. Thank you, Bungie. And, you grab your loot, and you head back to orbit. So, overall, I think Battlegrounds doesn't really innovate on anything crazy. Obviously, you have the ball-throwing mechanic. I like that you can't throw it one direction, and then the ball aim assist and does a 360 around the Earth's rotation, and then slingshots around the sun, maybe does a figure eight around Pluto, and then hits the target. It just, you kind of have to hit the target. That's always, a nice touch of challenge. Datto in his video talked a lot about the issue of enemy density. Well, I guess actually now the non-issue of enemy density, which is very hard to say, by the way. So, yeah, I think Bungie definitely nailed the amount and the strength of the enemies that they're putting in these areas. I'm sure as I actually level up, as I'm only around 1270 at the moment, it will get easier and easier as I will be able to face stomp all these enemies with one punch. But I think the fact that you're in a, like I said, semi-enclosed area and there are just enemies all around you and you only have two teammates just works really, really well. I would be curious to see, which I don't think is going to happen, if any of the upcoming Battlegrounds are actually significantly larger areas with 6 people. I think that would be a nice touch and a good surprise for maybe the final Battleground, as I believe we are getting 3 more, because right now it's just Nessus and Europa. But, I feel like Bungie would probably say that because, they're trying to generate hype and actually get people back into the game after the incredibly abysmal Season of the Hunt, which was just awful, by the way. Barely even played it. What else do we got? Well, we have seasonal challenges, which is a very nice touch. Thank you, Bungie. I love these things. Some of them are kind of tedious and annoying, as you would expect from Destiny 2. Like, for example, having to get 170, I believe, rocket launcher kills on Cabal, because rocket launchers are better than they were, granted. They're not exactly ad clear type weapons, so 170 is kind of annoying. I got it fairly quickly. It was just stupid. If you use Wardcliff or Eyes of Tomorrow, it really doesn't take that long. But, I don't know, it's just kind of a weird challenge. I like that they don't actually track by week necessarily. If you miss it, you have all season to come back to it, which is always great, because sometimes you can have, stuff to do during your week, and not just be able to play Destiny. I know we are in quarantine, but sometimes you get busy. So that's always a nice touch. And we got the helm as sort of part of the tower, but not really. The helm, it's a cool area. It's not really that much in it. You have the big prismatic recaster in the floor, so you can focus your umbral engrams. Probably one of the nerdiest sentences anyone has ever said ever. And then, right on the end of it, you have your umbral decoder, where you can take your focused umbral engram, decode it for a piece of loot that might actually have surpassed it in nerdiness, but, it's what happens. Which is obviously back from Season of the Arrivals, which this time around is definitely the kind of, ultimate, the curated version, if you will, because I think they definitely maybe could adjust the drop rate a little bit more for Umbral engrams. Obviously, Season of Rivals, it would take up your entire inventory in like 2 or 3 strikes, which was not optimal and was pretty annoying, as a matter of fact. But now I think I've only gotten 3 in my maybe 7 or 8 hours of playing, which seems a little bit low. But we'll see how that goes as the season progresses. I also like that we have extremely specific Umbral focusing, because obviously during Season of the Arrivals, you could focus a type of armor, like a set of armor, but you couldn't say like helmet, gloves, chest, whatever, which could lead to some frustration. But like I said, you were getting so many Umbral engrams, it didn't really matter. But I will always take a small amount of good loot over a massive amount of really shitty loot I auto-dismantle, because why would I ever need a blue in Destiny when I'm at max power? Bungie, seriously, auto-decrypt. Do it. Something that happens every single season that I have never liked, unless it's an expansion, because there it actually fits, is, say it with me, the power level grind. No one likes the power level grind. Sure, it's nice to be able to get to that pinnacle cap and flex on your friends, but really, what is it doing besides holding you back from content? Nothing. It's just kind of tedious and annoying. Yes, Bungie, I get that the power level grind is really part of the seasonal rhythm, that you want to jump in, you want to do your powerfuls, then you want to do your tier 2s, then your tier 3s, and then your pinnacles, but honestly, I'm kind of sick of all the super, ticky-tacky Bungie, like, extra super fast leveling auto strategies to win all the time everything good, and I kind of just, play what I want to play when I want to play it and don't really focus on leveling up, especially because this season, it's actually, with, like I said, the enemy density, is kind of fun to be a little underleveled. It actually, makes things challenging for once, so I definitely want to take my time with leveling, and obviously, as I just do activities every week, I'll just, get there eventually, so not really too concerned about that. I just think it's something Bungie should kind of take back a little bit, maybe not make the power increase so much every season, because it kind of feels like you grind all season to get maxed out everything at the pinnacle cap, and then a few weeks later, boom, you're back to square one, gotta do it again. So, how are weapons and armor for Season of the Chosen? Really good, but ugly. So yeah, some of the weapons look okay, especially the new exotic bow, which name I am kind of blanking on at the moment. That looks pretty cool. The submachine gun looks okay. The rest of the weapons, and especially the armor, I don't know what happened there, but I mean, most of the guns feel pretty good. I like that the new rocket launcher almost kind of feels like you're shooting a bubble out, which sounds kind of weird, like you want guns to feel weighty. It feels kind of weightless, but at the same time, the rocket actually has a very high velocity, from what I can tell, compared to a lot of other rocket launchers, so they kind of balance each other out. Feels really good. Submachine gun, definitely my new favorite weapon. It feels incredible. It has like a very good balance of actual damage to range. The exotic bow, I have to do a little bit more testing with. I used it for the heroic exo simulation, I think is what they are called, when trying to get my new stasis fragment. I combined that with the heritage precision shotgun, which was really, really good at taking out overload champions because it's very efficient at stunning them. And then, you run up, you pump them full of lead with your shotgun, and then you move on, and you get good ad clear, which is always nice. Love different ways of ad clear. It's kind of similar to Trinity Ghoul, but instead of lightning beams everywhere, you get explosions. And you have to fire it twice, which kind of stinks, because with Trinity Ghoul, getting an arc kill will proc the perk, but with this new bow, you have to hit fire it, hit your targets, and then aim down sights, shoot one of the targets, and all of them explode, which is slightly less efficient than Trinity Ghoul, yes, but I think the bow looks a lot nicer, which kind of does matter to some people in a very cosmetics-focused game, and it also, I think, just feels a little bit nicer to use. And specifically with the ugly armor, the helmets, man, just what is that? They are so ugly. Like, I don't know what the designers were smoking. I want some because clearly it was nice and strong, but it's not a good look for anybody. As for plot has never really been Destiny's strong suit. I think the actual campaign of Beyond Light had an absolute dumpster fire of a plot, like normal. But in terms of, like I said, the actual, like, overarching story, it's pretty weak. I mean, Zavala just refusing to bow was kind of, like, unprompted, if you ask me. Like, whatever Cal's daughter's name is, which I can't pronounce, so I'm just going to say Calite, even though I know for a fact that's not even close. I do not care. Calite is just like, bow to me and we can partner up and take out the Hive in the darkness, and Zavala's literally just goes, no. Like, you have no reason not to bow. It's not like a pride thing. Obviously, you know Guardians could kick the shit out of the Cabal in 2 seconds because they've done it hundreds of times at this point. I would have just, bowed and team up. Like, don't really understand the point of Calite sending her troops at us and we're just wiping through them. I mean, that just makes her weaker. Not a very good game plan. I did really like the cutscene when you walk in to the helm and you have Crow, Osiris, I think Lord Saladin shows up for the first time in, like, forever, so good for him, all talking to each other. Especially the moment where Osiris says to Crow, like, I'm sure, like, keep your mask on for now. I know what it feels like. I've been there. But, once you do some good stuff, people will accept you. That was a really nice moment. I actually did smile at that. I'm pretty sure Lord Saladin had a pretty funny line, which I definitely enjoyed. I'm kind of going off of distant memory because I definitely was not playing Destiny during class during the start of the season because Zoom school. In terms of actually upgrading the war table in the helm, whatever, it's not very exciting. It's the same type of thing we've seen over and over. I mean, yeah, you kind of have, I think you have more options than normal because it goes both ways and down simultaneously. I could be wrong. I don't really remember how you upgraded Warmind bunkers too well because that season was just so mind-numbing. But, I don't know, it doesn't really matter. I'll upgrade it eventually. Not super stoked to get my, war table reputation all the way up. And as for some of the minor updates, like how the reputation system now works with Shaxx and the Drifter, that's a nice touch. I think the actual way you go about earning reputation could probably be simplified a little bit because you kind of have, like, reputation that you get from bounties, and then you also get reputation from completing actual Gambit and Crucible matches, and then there's also just, like, win bonuses and stuff, and then you also have, like, normal engrams that you get for every single reputation. Some stuff there needs to be a little smoothed out. I think that also just comes from a lack of experience with it because it's very new, and I kind of had to divide my couple of hours this week between learning all the new stuff. So I won't really comment on that any further. But I will say the prospect of earning Ascendant Shards and Enhancement Prisms and all that good stuff, just by, playing enough Crucible, that's good with me. I like that. I'm not really a fan of very high-level strikes. I mean, I've tried Grandmaster Nightfalls a few times. I never beat it, not because I'm bad at the game, but because it's just not really worth the effort, when it would obviously be way more efficient to Grandmaster Nightfalls, which I don't think I did any last season just because, like I said, I wasn't very invested in last season. I had enough saved up from before that to fully upgrade all my Warlock armor because I switched from maining Titan to Warlock, which I will say, if you are maining Titan, I would recommend the switch to Warlock. Even as somebody who basically shotguns and melees everything, I still like Warlock better. That's a different discussion, though. So yeah, earning Ascendant Shards and Enhancement Prisms just by playing PvP, it's a good system, especially because I think Season of Arrivals, I mean, it kind of is a little unfair because of how far it was extended. I think I reset my Valor 7 or 8 times, so that would probably be like, 2 or 3 Ascendant Shards, something like that. I don't really know how the numbers compare yet, like I said. So, overall, Season of the Chosen. Not a lot of massive changes, but it does implement a lot of stuff that I think is very good, like how the new reputation system at Crucible and Gambit work, the new seasonal challenges. Battlegrounds are just, they're fun, whatever. I'm not really going to comment on the strikes and the Cosmodrome controversy going on because I literally just do not care enough. The 2 strikes are, they're from Destiny 1, they're good strikes. They'll be in the game whenever they're in the game, and I will enjoy them. Cosmodrome, there's not really anything to do there besides Lost Sectors anyway, so I'm not too disappointed it's not expanded. The UI updates all look good. The new weapons all feel very good, even if some of them don't look too good. Especially the armor does not look too good. And I'm excited to see, what we get drip fed over the season, because I know that there's a lot to come. We're getting a very Whisper-esque mission on that There Is No Light Here ship from the end of the trailer, from what I've heard, for apparently an exotic scout rifle, which will be interesting because scout rifles have not been meta for a very long time, but they seem to be shoved into the forefront with snipers this season, which is a welcome change. And yeah, guys, I think that pretty much sums it up. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.